Back at it with more thin and crispy pizza. Pretty stoked on this one. I'll show you how I do it. Let's go. And using a rolling pin is really easy once you get the hang of it. I'm starting here just by pressing it down a little bit with my hands. So flip it over. That's going to be the bottom of the pizza. Hit it with some flour here. That's one of the most common questions I get is, how do you prevent your dough from sticking on the peel? Well, I think a lot of people probably don't use enough flour. And also too, you don't need to flour the whole entire pizza all the time. Just, we're concerned about the bottom here. I'm gonna flip it upside down here. We don't want that big mound of flour after I was saying it on the top of our pizza here. Here we go, roll it. Hit it with some more flour here. Flip it over. Roll it out, open it up. We'll see how thin we can go. The dough, this batch of dough, I've been a little bit more pumped on. Last one, I was over fermented, so it was like definitely a little sketchy. I think my balling had something a little off on it too. I just had some thin spots. Always frustrated. Look at that though. Looking super bomb. You can open it up here by slapping it too. It's always a good method. When you're doing that, do a little quarter turn. As you do it, start to get the hang of it. Feels super sketchy at first, but you'll get used to it. So let's put it back down on the marble. Let's get my wooden peel ready to go here. Flip this one over. See, shake some of that flour off. You don't want all that on the peel. Get it on here. See, we're shooting for a pizza about 15 inches, maybe about 14 and a half. I'm not keeping track. This is a 16-inch peel. Let's open it up even more. I'm feeling pretty good about the dough today. It's feeling nice and strong, so I'm not super sketched about ripping it. I see a little bit of a thin spot right there we'll have to watch out for. But otherwise, all good. This is looking bomb to me. Always get the excess flour off. Gonna clean my little area up here. We'll top this up. I'll show you guys the toppings. Continuing on our epic thin and crispy journey. Hopefully we're getting somewhere. We're changing it up always a little bit, but today is not gonna be anything different with the sauce. It's my world's best tomato sauce recipe that's up on santabarbarabaker.com. I'm gonna use, this is a 3-ounce ladle here. I'm gonna go start with about a ladle and a half. We're gonna leave a little bit of crust today. Some of the thin and crispies I've been doing, I've been taking it all the way out to the edge, but we're gonna leave just a little bit there. See how it goes. When you're making a basic cheese pizza, it's like, how many things can you change up? It turns out there's actually quite a bit on your journey for sure. You can change up your crust, your cheese, the seasonings on the pizza. The list can go on and on. I like to keep it as basic as possible. Today, the major changes, we're gonna change it up a little bit with the cheese. I have it sliced. You can check it out here, a little peep. And we're going with 3 different varieties of mozzarella, which I think is a lot of fun because each brings a different little element to the party. We have the fresh, the classic. We're just gonna go sparingly on that though, about 1 ounce of that. And then split 2 ounces between each other is some sliced aged mozzarella, otherwise known as low moisture mozzarella, the classic pizza cheese. I have whole milk and part skim. The amount of fat, that's what sometimes people will be like, oh, all the grease on your pizza, what's up with that? It's gotta be the swag cheese. Turns out, oftentimes it's exactly the opposite. That fattier cheese will drop some more oil on your pizza. What I do there, hit it with a little bit of oregano. Let's do some basil. Hit it with 3 basil leaves. Look at that, pretty nice. Okay, our cheeses, let's start off. Let's go with our full fat mozz. We'll put a little bit on there. Part skim versus full fat. I mean, I'm not really looking at that for health reasons. It's more for melting reasons. I mean, fat's good in your diet, I believe, so I like a good full fat cheese, but sometimes I think it just adds maybe a little bit too much oil to the pie. I'm mixing in our part skim too. Does this look pretty good? I think if you guys are having trouble sometimes with the bubbling up in the center, add a little more cheese. I don't know, guys. This might be pushing it with the cheese. Definitely a cheesy pie. We'll hit it with a little bit of the fresh mozz to finish it off. I like to go sparingly with this stuff because it does have more moisture. Even you see this one's not dripping with water. Always look for the fresh mozzarella. It's more like in a cryovac package versus in a tub of water. Unless you can get it super fresh. Looking really nice to me. I'm thinking for this one, we'll hit it with a little bit of the olive oil drizz before it goes in the... Our thin and crispy Journey Soldiers on. Let's do one last check before we load it. Center deck, we're reading 700, 500 on the little readout out front. Looking really good to me. Give it one last little shake before it loads. It's not stuck, really good. Get it loaded up. Slid right off like it should. That's because the bottom of the pizza was nice and floured. I think with the temp drop in there, I'm gonna turn up the oven just a little bit, just so that flame starts crawling slightly over the pizza there. You see that? That'll start melting the cheese and giving us some really good browning. Keeping an eye though, because we're gonna go for a little bit longer bake here. Hopefully end up with something crispy. I'm tripping, looking over there. Where's my rack? I always like to get it on a rack after it comes out. Make sure it stays nice and crispy. Let's take a look. Cheese starting to melt out front here. Really like to see that for the first turn. Some browning going on the back. Pizza like this, we're not looking really for like that crazy leopard spotting or anything like that. Maybe a little bit on the char side, something like that. Nice browning, all really good things on a cheese pizza. Look at that, looking super bomb. I'm starting to think about a first turn here. My turning peel, gonna heat it up just briefly before I turn it. All right, going in here, a little preheat on the turning peel, just so it doesn't shock the pie. Maybe not that big of a deal here. Free up the bottom. So far, so good. Give it a nice little gentle turn. All right, looking really nice. You can feel that little thin spot. Always have to keep it interesting. But look at that browning, and that looks really nice to me. I'm into this pie. So far, so good. You know, a little bit of leoparding there. You know, not really what we're after, but the browning is really nice. Overall, looking like a solid pie. I think I'm just gonna turn it down even slightly here. It's browning up pretty quickly. Let's go take a look at the bottom here. Always a super important thing. This oven's been on for a while today, so I think we're really hot. Wow, looking really bomb. Give it another little turn here. Can you guys see it? We're browning up pretty quickly. So that means I can see that the crust here is looking a little pale. So I'm gonna turn it up again just slightly to finish it off, because I already see my bottom is looking nice and brown. Wow, look at it. Maybe a little hot. We'll turn it down just slightly. Really good. Let's give it another little spin. You guys see the bottom maybe a little bit there? Really looking pretty nice. Oh, so dank. Really into it. You can see here we're going to definitely have to give it another spin to let it brown. That's way too pale for me. I like it a little bit on the dark brown to even char. Let's spin it. It's looking super dark in the back there. Really nice. Wow, look at this pizza. Amazing. I think we're in the home stretches here. Look at that. Really nice pie. Pretty thin. I mean, not the world's thinnest pizza. Not what we're after. Like I said, I like a little bubbles in there. Something to give a little cushion for that sauce and cheese. I think I'm going to turn it down even just a little bit more. We're almost done here. That brownie looks really good. Let's take a look. Finishing up here, I think you see all that brown cheese. The bottom looking really nice. Wow, look at that pizza. Into it. Think we're about on our final turns here. We'll go in, take a peek. You can pick up the pizza here. You know what? You can feel it's still a little bit maybe floppy. We're not looking for flop today. We're looking for a nice crispy bottom. We'll let it go even longer. I see the browning is looking really good to me. So at this point, if you're happy with the top, just make sure that your Karu 16 or whatever oven you're using is turned all the way down to finish off that bottom. You can even kill the flame completely. Why don't we just do it? Let's try that. Just turn it off with the gas here. With my little cover, so it's like a total dork move. All right, there we go. Almost done here. Let's see, one more little turn as that bottom crisps up. You can just use the residual heat because this oven has been on. I cooked some other pies today, so it had plenty of time to heat. Looking really nice. The bottom looks, I'm pumped on that one. It has a little bit of speckled little leopardine on the bottom, but also nice and brown. I'm seeing that right now. Good stuff. I think it's done. Let's get it out of here. Take a look. We don't want to dry it out. Just long enough so it's just crispy. Here it comes. Wow, look at this thing. I almost caught it there on the rim. Check it out. What do you guys think? Classic cheese pizza, 3 different kinds of mozz on there. Looking pretty nice to me. Gonna let it rest on our rack here just for a few minutes, and so I don't completely annihilate my mouth. What do you think? How do we do? I don't know what you call this style. I guess it's like some sort of like New York East Coast style thing, but we're baking it in our little backyard oven here. Pretty fired up on it. I can just feel like this thing is definitely gonna just annihilate the roof of my mouth. Feeling sketch on that for sure. I think maybe a little bit too much cheese on here, but overall the bake looks really bomb. Can you guys see the bottom there? Not really. We'll pick up a slice. We'll get into it. I'm gonna slide it onto here. I want to make sure that you guys can maybe pick up the sound to see if there's a crunch or anything when we slice into it here. Let's give it a slice. Overall, the bake was uneventful in a really good way. A little bit of crunch there, I heard it. Give it another slice here. Now uneven. Wow. Total hack job with the slice job. That's kind of how I roll to make a million pizzas and I still don't know how to slice them. I'm feeling like it's crunchy though. I can tell as I'm slicing into it. Let's take a look here even closer. Making sure that paper's not too much in the way. Wow, look at that. Look at this one. Pretty good. What do you think? Whole structure look all right? Pretty even there. That's what you're gonna get with that rolled type pizza. Let's check this one. Wow, this looks really good to me. I think this has got to be the one. Check it out. Looking pretty dank. A little bit of sag on the tip, but I'm game on that. Overall though, I wouldn't call this a floppy pizza. I'm calling it a dank pizza. Let's get in it. Straight up headband on this one. I was tripping. I was waiting. I was stalling you guys because I'm so sketched on burning in my mouth. I'm like, feel like I'm doing permanent damage to that thing. Overall though, this one's pretty dank. Maybe a little bit long on the bake. I don't know. Could be maybe a little bit moisture on the crust, but overall really bomb. A little too much cheese for me, but we're trying it out here. 5 ounces I'm feeling maybe on there. Maybe a little less. Looking really bomb. The variation of my recipe up on SantaBarbaraBaker.com. I just reduced the hydro to 63. Really bomb into this pie. Love you all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to get back in this thing. One love.